Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 corner for this race recap of the Styrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring, a race that was convincingly won by Max Verstappen at Red Bull with Lewis Hamilton in second and Valtteri Bottas third. Believe it or not, this is the first time since the beginning of the turbo hybrid era in 2014 that Mercedes have gone 4 races without taking a victory. They are, needless to say, on the back foot for this season. I think it's official. And with another race at the same track next week, unless they find some miracle power somewhere, I think it's going to be a very long weekend. Lots of action on track, not so much at the front, but lots of it in the midfield. And before we get to it, remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss any update regarding the 2021 Formula 1 season and even more. So, said it at the beginning, Max Verstappen, convincing victory in front of Lewis Hamilton. Pretty much led from lap 1 until the end and had enough of an advantage that Red Bull could only wait to see what Mercedes was doing and then reply. Toward the end of the race, Max Verstappen had up to 10 seconds on Lewis Hamilton, who finally decided to just pit and go for the fast lap. So Mercedes do get the fastest lap of the race. That's at least 1 point stolen from Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas third will be happy overall with that, considering that he probably would have finished fourth otherwise. He was behind Sergio Perez for the first part of the race, but then Sergio had an issue during his pit stop. The mechanics had trouble removing the rear left wheel, so lost a bit of time there, and Bottas was able to undercut him. So, not undercut, sorry, but to overtake him on his in lap and out lap. So, good job there, not making any mistake at Mercedes during the pit stops. But at the end of the race, Red Bull gambled everything on a second stop for Sergio Perez, and had that race lasted 1 lap longer, Perez would have undoubtedly taken third place, as at the finish line he was a mere half a second behind Valtteri. But Red Bull comes out victorious. They are the team with the most points this weekend. They come out with the win, so that's what matters for them. And next week, same track, unless Mercedes finds something really powerful under the hood, yeah, it's gonna be a long weekend for them. Behind the top 4, we have Lando Norris in 5th. Pretty much the best he could hope in all circumstances. He did hold his ground for a while at the beginning in 3rd place, but the team decided that it was more beneficial for them to just do their own race, not fight with the top guns, and try to just get more points than Ferrari, which on paper 5th place gives you a lot of points, but when you look at Carlos Sainz 6th and Charles Leclerc 7th, Ferrari as a team takes more points than the McLaren team for this weekend. So gaining a little bit of ground back for the Constructors' Championship. We know it's a very big fight between McLaren and Ferrari for 3rd. And Ferrari 6-7, I think it's a lucky position for them. And sorry, by the way, there's a lot of wind, so I hope you hear me well. But lucky finish, I think, for Ferrari, considering that the Alpine were strong, that the Aston Martin was strong, that the AlphaTauri were strong. We'll get to AlphaTauri toward the end. And Charles Leclerc, 7th place, is a very lucky one, considering that he was pretty much dead last at the end of the first lap after clipping Pierre Gasly damaged his wing, had to stop to change it. So very, very good comeback for Charles Leclerc in 7th. Let's talk about AlphaTauri right away with Yuki Tsunoda in 10th and Pierre Gasly DNF. I said it at the Charles Leclerc clipped Pierre Gasly at the beginning of the race, and it actually caused a puncture for Gasly, and end up lap 1 enters the pit and see if he can just change the tire, but suspension was also damaged, and it was already end of the race for Gasly, who had a very, very promising weekend ahead of him. Yuki Tsunoda 10th place, very good. Finally a weekend where he put everything together and deliver the goods. Started 11th after getting a penalty, but quali was good for him and the race was good, so you know, he's gaining maturity, gaining an experience, and as the races are advancing, he's finally, you know, getting more and more into it. Another team with mixed result is Aston Martin. Lance Stroll in 8th and Sebastian Vettel in 12th. So few points on the board for Aston Martin. Very good result for Lance Stroll. Vettel, disappointing overall. He had very good races in Azerbaijan and France, but seems like he could not really get with that car around the Austrian track. I hope that next week it's gonna be better. Damn, it's freaking windy here. I'm gonna make my way the other way. So yeah, Vettel after a few strong races was not able to do the same. So is it only a matter of setup? Is it maybe the tracks does not suit him? That's still weird, but still 8th place for Aston Martin. They'll be happy with that. And Alpine, Fernando Alonso 9th, will also be happy with that, considering that his teammate Esteban Ocon just could not find any pace in his car this weekend. Alonso 9, but Ocon only 14th. Hopefully he will do better next week, because these guys, Aston Martin, Alpine and AlphaTauri, are really in the fight for that 5th place in a championship, 5, 6, 7th, and we know there's a lot of money involved in that case. So hopefully Alpine, you know, who were improving at some point during the season, maybe have fallen back a little bit. Alonso for sure is himself really getting into it. Finally, the Fernando Alonso that we know and love. So overall it is, yeah, a mixed weekend for Alpine also. After looking super strong in free practice, Esteban Ocon was 3rd in FP2 on Friday, so there's no reason why he fell that far back, unless they were doing some sandbagging. But we'll find out more also next week with the same track. You know, I think many teams will do some updates and will adjust and try to improve. So could actually be in for a surprise at some point next week. And then as we go back, Kimi Raikkonen 11th place. Good results, starting from 17th on the grid. Raikkonen, once again, Alfa Romeo close to the points but not in there. They are that team that can get points if everything goes their way. Unfortunately this week it was just too short, but still they will be happy with that result. And Giovinazzi 15 was not a bad race overall. Giovinazzi was involved also on lap 1 in a collision with Pierre Gasly, who it was nobody's fault. Gasly with a puncture just tried to control his car, and there was not much else that could be done. So just sad for Giovinazzi there. Daniel Ricciardo 13, disappointing result. Had a very strong race in France. and only 13. You know, when we thought and when he thought he was finally starting to understand that car, it's like pressing the reset button. And with Lando Norris 5th, this is not what we expect from Daniel after what he did last year with the Renault. So next week is another chance, same track. Hope that Daniel has learned from this weekend and that he can improve. Gutting weekend for George Russell and Williams. George was starting in P10, was running in 8th place during the first stint of the race. Then the team feared for the reliability of the car. Pit in, very long pit stop, doing some things to the car, trying to just improve the aeration and the cooling of the car. Had to pit once again the lap after to try to improve it again. So from 8 to 18, and in the end, retirement for George Russell for fear of reliability. Very gutting, because I think that Williams had potential for points this weekend. Russell deserved it. I mean, he qualified P11 on merit, started P10 after Tsunoda's penalty, and ending up with a retirement. Very, very sad. Russell was, I think, in the driver of the day vote, he was third, so people had sympathy for what happened to him. As for Nicolas Latifi finishing 17, that's just another weekend for him in front of Nikita Mazepin. But I think the victory here goes to Haas in that backpack, with Mick Schumacher finishing once again in front of Latifi. So the young German is learning with Haas and just showing that he actually has some pace, and the Haas can be competitive in that C group at the back. And Williams, may have a chance next week. It seems like the little tweaks they did this weekend really worked. George Russell found some great pace. So chance for points for Williams next week. I might want to put a few dollars on that. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. So there you have it, your race recap. Reminder that Max Verstappen is leading the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull is leading the Constructors' Championship. Both Red Bull and Verstappen coming at the end of this weekend with more points ahead of Mercedes than they had last week. So that's a very good win situation for Red Bull. Lando Norris 5th, Ferrari gaining a little bit back on McLaren for the Constructors' Championship. So really the fight is on, and next week, same track, exactly 1 year after the beginning of the COVID restriction. I think we're gonna be in for one hell of a race, with everyone learning from this week and improving for the next. Thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss any update regarding next week's